Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be exploring excerpts from Scott W. Ventrella's book, The Power of Positive Thinking in Business.
Okay.
We're going to discover how shifting your mindset can truly impact your work life.
Right.
Especially given the staggering statistic that U.S. companies are losing roughly $3 billion annually due to negativity.
It's a figure that really makes you stop and think.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to dismiss negativity as just a feeling,
Right.
but when you see the tangible financial impact it has,
Yeah.
it becomes clear that this is something we need to address.
So let's dive into the heart of the matter.
Okay.
What exactly does positive thinking mean, and how does it apply to the business world?
Ventrella takes care to clarify that positive thinking isn't about ignoring reality or forcing a fake smile. He debunks the Pollyanna myth, emphasizing that this approach is not about naive optimism, but about constructively framing your thoughts to find solutions and drive action, even in the face of challenges.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's not about pretending everything is perfect,
Right.
but about approaching situations
Yes.
with a more proactive and solution-oriented mindset.
Precisely.
And to understand how this shift works,
Okay.
Ventrella introduces the TFA model.
Yes.
Thoughts, feelings, actions.
That's right.
This model illustrates how our thoughts directly influence our emotions, which, in turn, guide our actions.
Yes.
So if we can change our thoughts, we
Yeah.
can change our feelings and ultimately our actions.
That's the idea.
It sounds deceptively simple,
Right.
yet so powerful.
It is powerful.
Yeah.
And it all starts with recognizing those automatic negative thoughts we often have.
Right.
Ventrella calls this self-talk, that inner voice that can sometimes be our own worst critic.
We've all been there, right? Stuck in a loop of, I'm not good enough, or this is never going to work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the great thing is,
Yeah.
we have the power to change the script.
Oh.
Ventrella gives us the example of Pat,
Okay.
an employee who feels ignored by her manager, Jan.
Yeah.
Instead of assuming Jan is deliberately dismissing her ideas,
Right.
Pat could reframe her thinking.
Okay.
Perhaps Jan is simply having a busy day, or maybe scheduling a dedicated meeting would be more productive.
Yeah.
You see how that shift in thinking can lead to a different feeling,
Yeah.
like understanding or patience,
Okay.
which then guides Pat toward a more positive action.
That example really brings it to life.
Right.
Instead of spiraling into negativity and potentially damaging the relationship, a simple shift in thought can lead to a completely different outcome.
That's the crux of it.
Ventrella even takes this a step further
Yeah.
by introducing the BTFA model,
Yes.
adding beliefs to the beginning of the chain.
Right.
This highlights how deeply ingrained beliefs about ourselves and the world actually shape our initial thoughts.
Yes.
He outlines several common self-limiting beliefs. Correct. Those underlying assumptions that can hold us back without us even realizing it.
Yes, beliefs like people must treat me fairly, or I must perform well, or I'm no good.
Right.
These might sound harmless on the surface, but Ventrella dives deeper,
Okay.
showing how these beliefs can manifest in negative self-talk and ultimately affect our actions in the workplace.
Yeah.
For instance, that belief about fair treatment could lead to anger and resentment if a colleague receives a promotion over you, even if it's truly deserved.
That's a powerful insight.
Right.
It's not just about surface-level thoughts. It's about unearthing those deeper beliefs that are driving our reaction.
Exactly.
So how do we challenge these beliefs and move towards a more positive outlook?
Ventrella offers a 6-step process called the situation transformation technique.
Okay.
It's all about consciously reframing our thinking.
Right.
He uses the relatable example of a delayed flight,
Oh.
something we all experience from time to time.
I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
Delayed flights are never fun.
No, they're not. Instead of getting frustrated and thinking, why does this always happen to me?
Yeah.
Ventrella suggests we use this delay as an opportunity.
Okay.
Maybe it's a chance to catch up on some reading. Or perhaps this delay is actually ensuring our safety.
Okay.
It's about finding that silver lining
Right.
and consciously choosing to look at this situation from a different perspective.
That's a great example of how a simple shift in perspective can completely change how we experience a situation.
It can.
Instead of feeling like a victim, we can take control and find a way to make the best of it.
Exactly.
Now, Ventrella also talks about specific traits of a positive thinker, right?
Yes, he does.
He identifies 10 key traits. He calls them the 10 traits of a positive thinker.
He does.
And what's fascinating is he argues these traits are innate.
Yeah.
We're all born with them.
Right.
But over time, negative experiences or societal conditioning can cause us to suppress them.
Right.
So it's not about developing these traits from scratch, but rather rediscovering them.
Yes.
And learning to harness their power.
That's right.
And to help with this process.
Okay.
Ventrella includes a positive thinking inventory in the book.
He does.
It's a series of thought-provoking statements that encourage self-reflection, helping you identify which of these traits you naturally lean towards and which ones might need a little boost.
That's a good way to put it.
It's like taking an inventory of your positive thinking toolkit, right?
It is.
Seeing where you're strong and where you might need to invest some effort.
Exactly.
I'm really curious to hear more about these 10 traits.
Okay.
How does Ventrella categorize them?
He groups them into 3 categories. Centering power, uplifting power, and driving power.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Right.
Let's start with centering power.
Okay.
What exactly does that entail?
Centering power is all about establishing a solid foundation.
Okay.
Grounding yourself in those core traits that help you stay centered.
Right.
Especially when faced with challenges or chaos, the traits that fall under this category are belief, integrity, and focus.
So starting with belief,
Okay.
what makes it so crucial in a business context?
Ventrella emphasizes that belief at its core is about having unwavering trust.
Okay.
It's about believing in yourself, your abilities, and even in a power greater than yourself, however you define that.
Right.
It's that deep-seated conviction that can fuel your actions and help you overcome doubt and fear, which are often major obstacles in business.
To illustrate the power of belief, Ventrella shares a compelling story about Mr. Wright.
He does.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mr. Wright's story was actually featured in the New York Times.
Wow.
He had been diagnosed with cancer
and
given a very grim prognosis, but he had this unshakable belief in a new treatment. And remarkably, his tumors began to shrink.
Wow.
Now, Ventrella isn't suggesting that belief alone can cure diseases.
Right.
But he highlights how powerful our minds can be and how our beliefs can influence outcomes, even in seemingly impossible situations.
It's a testament to the mind-body connection.
It is.
And the idea that our thoughts can have a real tangible impact on our lives.
Exactly.
And in a business context, that unwavering belief in yourself and your vision can be the driving force that helps you persevere through challenges and achieve success.
It really speaks to the idea that our mindset shapes our reality.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what about integrity?
Okay.
How does that contribute to centering power?
Ventrella defines integrity as acting in accordance with your values, being honest and fair in all your dealings.
Okay.
He argues that operating with integrity builds trust and fosters strong relationships, which are essential for any successful business.
It's about walking the talk, right?
Yes.
Not just saying you have strong values, but actually demonstrating them in your actions.
Precisely.
And to illustrate this, Ventrella poses some thought-provoking ethical dilemmas, those gray areas we all encounter in business.
We do.
He asks us to consider scenarios like taking office supplies home or padding an expense report.
Right.
It really makes you pause and examine those subtle choices we make.
It does.
And whether they align with our core values.
Exactly.
It's about that gut check.
Yeah.
Asking yourself, am I being true to myself and my principles?
Right.
And sometimes those decisions aren't easy.
No.
But operating with integrity builds a foundation of trust. It does.
That is invaluable in the long run.
Right.
And the final element of centering power is focus.
Okay.
Why is that so important in today's fast-paced business world?
Ventrella points out that it's easy to get pulled in a million directions.
Right.
Constantly bombarded with information and demands.
Yeah.
Focus is about directing your attention and energy toward what truly matters.
Okay.
Prioritizing your goals.
Yeah.
And minimizing distractions.
He uses the example of Scott Adams, the creator of the Dilbert comic strip,
He does.
to highlight the power of focus.
Yes.
Adams had this lifelong dream of becoming a syndicated cartoonist.
Right.
But for years, he worked as a middle manager, feeling stuck and unfulfilled. he decided to take control.
Right.
He started writing down his goals and using affirmations every single day.
Yeah.
Literally focusing his mind on his dream. And eventually that dream became a reality.
It's a great story.
It's a testament to the power of intention and focused action. It is.
By consistently directing his energy toward his goal, he was able to make it happen.
Right.
It's a powerful reminder that we can achieve extraordinary things.
Yes.
When we harness the power of focus.
We can?
Okay, we've explored centering power.
Okay.
Let's move on to the next category, uplifting power.
All right.
What traits fall under this umbrella?
Uplifting power is all about those qualities that boost your spirits and energize you.
Okay.
It's the fuel that keeps you going.
Right.
Even when faced with setbacks or challenges.
Yeah.
The two traits in this category are optimism and enthusiasm.
Those definitely sound uplifting.
They do?
Let's start with optimism.
Okay.
It's a word we hear all the time.
Yes.
But what does it truly mean in a business context?
Ventrella says it's more than just having a positive outlook.
Okay.
It's about seeing the good in every situation, even during tough times. It's that ability to find the silver lining, to believe that things will ultimately work out for the best.
It's about focusing on possibilities rather than getting bogged down by limitations.
Exactly.
And Ventrella points out that optimists tend to assume or expect success.
Right.
And this belief can be incredibly motivating.
It is.
It fuels their actions and helps them persevere.
It does.
But he also acknowledges the importance of balance.
Yeah.
He shares an anecdote about how he, as a self-proclaimed optimist, would sometimes seek advice from a pessimist.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Why would an optimist seek out a pessimist?
He recognized that a little dose of pessimism can be healthy.
Okay.
It can help you be more cautious, consider potential risks, and avoid being reckless.
It's like having that devil's advocate on your shoulder, making sure you've thought through all the angles.
Precisely.
Makes sense.
It does.
So optimism's about seeing possibilities.
Yes.
What about enthusiasm?
Okay.
How does that play into our success?
Enthusiasm is all about that contagious energy and passion.
Right.
When you're enthusiastic about your work, it shows.
It does.
You're more engaged, more creative, and more likely to inspire those around you.
Ventrella's story about the incredibly enthusiastic waitress really stuck with me.
Oh, yeah.
She was working incredibly hard at a busy breakfast diner.
Right.
But she never lost her smile or her composure. It turned out she found deep meaning in her work.
Right.
Because she knew she was providing for her children.
Yeah.
Her passion was fueled by a sense of purpose.
That's a good point.
It's a beautiful reminder that finding meaning in your work, even in seemingly ordinary tasks, can make all the difference.
Absolutely.
Ventrella offers several tips for cultivating enthusiasm, even if you're feeling a bit burned out.
Right.
He suggests finding ways to inject fun or healthy competition into your work.
Okay.
Connecting your tasks to a larger purpose and remembering those times when you felt truly passionate.
Right.
And trying to recreate those conditions.
Those are all good ideas.
So uplifting power is about finding that inner spark.
Yes.
That genuine passion that fuels your work.
It is.
Now, what about the final category, driving power?
Okay.
What are those traits that propel us forward?
Driving power encompasses those qualities that push you to achieve your goals and overcome obstacles.
Right.
This category includes determination, courage, and confidence.
Let's start with determination.
All right.
What does it mean to be truly determined?
Ventrella describes determination as that unwavering commitment to your goals, that refusal to give up, even when faced with challenges.
He points to the remarkable career of Sandra Day O'Connor as a powerful example.
He does.
She was the first woman appointed to the Supreme Court, right?
That's right.
And her path was far from easy.
No, it wasn't.
She faced significant gender discrimination and numerous setbacks.
Right.
But she never lost sight of her goals.
Yeah.
She was driven by this incredible determination to succeed.
Right.
It's inspiring to see how she persisted.
Yes.
Even when the odds were stacked against her.
It is.
Ventrella emphasizes that determination is essential for achieving anything worthwhile, especially in the competitive world of business.
It is.
It's about having that grit and resilience to keep pushing forward no matter what obstacles you encounter.
Right.
Now, what about courage?
Okay.
Why is that so important in a business context?
Courage is about acting in spite of fear.
Right.
It's about taking risks, speaking up,
Yeah.
and doing what needs to be done, even when it feels uncomfortable or scary.
Right.
Ventrella reminds us that courage isn't the absence of fear.
Yeah.
It's acting in the face of fear.
He shares a powerful anecdote about a young man
Right.
who jumped off a bridge to save a stranger.
He does.
That story perfectly captures the essence of courage.
Yes, it does.
The young man was terrified.
Yeah.
But he knew he had to act.
He did.
And his bravery saved a life.
Right.
Ventrella argues that in business, we often need that same kind of courage.
We do.
To make tough decisions, challenge the status quo,
Yeah.
or pursue innovative ideas.
That's right.
It's about stepping outside your comfort zone.
Right.
And taking that leap of faith, even when you're not sure what the outcome will be.
Exactly.
And finally, we have confidence.
Right.
What's the key to cultivating genuine confidence?
Ventrella defines confidence as having deep-seated trust in your own abilities and potential.
Okay.
It's not about arrogance or bravado.
Right.
But about recognizing your strengths and being willing to put yourself out there.
He uses the example of a manager asking for volunteers to lead a task force.
Yeah.
And the responses from the volunteers reveal a lot about their confidence levels.
They do.
One is riddled with self-doubt.
Right.
Another is overly cocky.
Right.
And the third demonstrates a healthy level of confidence. Exactly. Ventrella encourages us to pay attention to how we present ourselves.
Right.
And to focus on our past accomplishments to boost our confidence.
Yeah.
He also stresses that asking for help when needed is a sign of strength, not weakness.
It is.
It's about recognizing that we don't have to have all the answers.
Right.
Seeking support and guidance from others can actually bolster our confidence.
It can.
So we've covered centering power, uplifting power, and driving power.
Right.
Is there anything else we need to consider on this positive thinking journey?
There's one more crucial piece to this puzzle that Ventrella introduces. Holding power.
Holding power.
Yeah.
That's an intriguing term.
It is.
What exactly does it mean?
Holding power is all about patience and calmness.
Okay.
These are the two traits that people often struggle with the most.
Yeah.
Especially in today's fast-paced, results-oriented business world.
It's like we're constantly being told to go, go, go. So slowing down and being patient can feel counterintuitive.
Exactly.
But Ventrella challenges that notion.
He does.
He argues that patience is actually a natural rhythm inherent in the world around us.
Yes.
He uses examples like the changing seasons,
right,
a seed sprouting, or the Grand Canyon forming over millions of years.
It makes a good point.
He makes a good point.
Yeah.
Nature doesn't rush, yet it accomplishes incredible things.
Right.
And he emphasizes that impatience is often a learned behavior.
It is.
We see others reacting with frustration or anger when things don't happen fast enough. And we start to mimic those behaviors.
Right.
So it's about unlearning those ingrained reactions.
Exactly.
And rediscovering that inner peace.
Precisely.
Ventrella dives into the three enemies of patience. Frustration, discouragement, and anger. Highlighting how these emotions can cloud our judgment.
They can.
And hinder our success.
Right.
He also points out that patience is crucial for building strong relationships.
It is.
Using the charming story of the fox and the little prince to illustrate this point.
Oh, that's a good story.
That's one of my favorite books.
It is.
The simplicity of the story carrying such profound wisdom.
It does.
Ventrella highlights that just like taming the fox, building any meaningful relationship requires time, consistency, and above all, patience.
Right.
It's about embracing the journey.
It is.
Not just focusing on the destination.
Exactly.
And then there's calmness, the other component of holding power.
Right.
Ventrella describes calmness as a state of mental organization and self-control.
Yeah.
So it's about mastering our emotions rather than letting them control us.
Precisely.
He argues that a cluttered mind leads to stress and anxiety, while a calm mind is like a tidy room. Everything is in its place.
Right.
And there's a sense of peace and order. He suggests practical techniques, like focusing on our breathing, decluttering our physical space, and consciously choosing positive thoughts.
Yeah.
It's about finding that inner stillness amidst the chaos.
It is.
It sounds like cultivating calmness is an ongoing practice.
It is.
Not a destination you arrive at.
That's a great way to put it.
Ventrella emphasizes that calmness.
Yeah.
Just like any skill can be developed and strengthened over time through consistent practice.
Exactly.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
Ventrella's framework of the 10 positive traits.
Yeah.
Belief, integrity, focus, optimism, enthusiasm, determination, courage, confidence, patience, and calmness.
Right.
Offers a powerful roadmap for personal and professional growth.
It does.
As we wrap up,
Okay.
what are some key takeaways for our listeners to remember?
Well, I think the most important takeaway is that positive thinking is not about wishful thinking or ignoring challenges. It's about consciously choosing to approach situations with a solution-oriented mindset.
Okay.
Actively cultivating those innate positive traits.
Right.
And consistently practicing the techniques Ventrella outlines in his book.
It's about taking ownership of our thoughts.
Yes.
Recognizing the impact they have on our emotions and actions, and ultimately shaping our reality in a more positive and productive way.
Exactly.
It doesn't just tell us to be positive.
No.
He provides a practical framework.
He does.
Actionable strategies. And real-world examples to guide us on this journey.
Right.
Ventrella's book serves as a reminder that we all have the power to change.
We do.
To rediscover those positive qualities within ourselves.
Yeah.
And to create a more fulfilling and successful work life.
Absolutely.
What's one final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Well, Ventrella issues a challenge to his readers.
Okay.
And I think it's a great one for our listeners as well.
Yeah.
He asks us to think of one small step we can take today.
Okay.
To apply one of these traits in our work. It could be anything from practicing positive self-talk to focusing on our breathing to stay calm during a stressful meeting, or having the courage to voice a new idea.
Yeah.
What positive change might that one small step create?
That's a great question.
That's something worth reflecting on.
That's a fantastic challenge.
Yeah.
Start small, be consistent, and watch those positive changes ripple outward.
That's a good way to look at it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.